In this video, you will learn how clothes affect you and those around you. How to use clothes to increase your efficiency in any business, be it business or study. How a formal suit increases testosterone levels and why you are more sociable in casual clothes. You will receive a tool to influence the quality of your life with the help of clothes. Imagine that you have magic clothes, putting on which you make half the mistakes in intellectual tasks. At the same time, you do not strain more than usual, and your results improve imperceptibly for you, solely due to clothing. I know it sounds unlikely, however, in one of the studies, the subjects were divided into two groups. The first group was dressed casually, and the second changed into a medical suit. Both groups were given several mindfulness tasks. At the end of the experiment, the researchers found that participants in medical clothing were twice as attentive as the second group. Initially, the subjects were equal in all respects. So it was the clothes that made the second group smarter. This is an amazing result, but the scientists did not stop there. In the second experiment, there were also two groups, and this time both were wearing medical clothes. However, the first group was told that they were wearing an artist's costume. Everyone was again given tasks for attentiveness, and again the second group, which thought that they were dressed like doctors, was twice as attentive. In other words, it is neither the style of clothing, nor the quality, nor the fabric, nor the color that influences, but what meaning we attach to this clothing, what it symbolizes for us. If it seems to us that scientists are very smart, putting on their uniform, we kind of become like them, take over their attention to detail, prudence and intelligence. Perhaps such an effect from simple clothes seems unrealistic to you, but do not rush to conclusions. There are many studies that support it. The fact is that clothing is something like a sign. It is a signal to others and to ourselves who we are. For example, Buddhist monks wear clothes bearing the imprint of asceticism. The first monks of this religion wore only old, most often used and discarded faded clothes. Wearing something like this, the ascetic reminds you of the path being followed. This makes him more modest and causes him a certain indifference to material values. In the same way, we remind ourselves of some kind of our role by putting on a specific outfit, because not only the monastic cassock and white medical gowns, but also any other clothing spread its symbolic influence. For example, in a 2006 study, subjects wore either a classic formal suit or relaxed casual attire and then rated their character. It turned out that those who were dressed according to the dress code described themselves more formally. They attributed to themselves the qualities of discipline, diligence and strategic thinking. Those dressed casually indicated other qualities associated with emotions, informal communication, and relationships. In other words, clothes change our relationship with ourselves. It literally shifts our focus to those qualities that are associated with these clothes. So if we lack, for example, discipline, then clothes will help us to feel different, more attentive, focused and stable, and research confirms this. For example, we recently discovered that wearing luxury items makes us give more money to charity. Despite the fact that the Gucci handbag is not ours, we take over its status and decide to donate in excess of the norm. In another study, golfers were given shoes and told they were professional Nike golf shoes, and their performance improved by as much as 20% compared to controls who weren't told anything about the brand. So the symbol of this shoe made the test subjects feel more confident. Thus, clothes have the most direct influence on us and make us behave accordingly. For example, in Kenya they decided to conduct an experiment and introduced a mandatory dress code for children in some schools. Nothing else was changed. As a result, students from these schools missed classes less often and their grades improved. They seemed to be identified with the role of the student. The clothes reminded them how to act. In general, all this research led me to divide my wardrobe into three categories: work, study and rest. Now, when it's time to work, I put on a watch, a shirt and tie, and trousers, and believe me, there is a big difference between working in loose clothes and working in formal uniforms. I immediately start to feel more disciplined, it is easier for me to focus on things and I even seem to feel more inspired. However, according to research, this is how it should be. In a recent study, the formal attire worn by test subjects before an intelligence test caused them to think more abstractly. That is, it is better to see the connections between ideas, to argue and understand the arguments of others more effectively, and also to be more creative. Yes, clothes literally make us smarter, but that's not all. It can even change our hormonal levels. Scientists have shown that in the conditions of business negotiations, jeans and hoodies reduce testosterone by as much as 20%, which, of course, worsens the results of negotiations. This is a good illustration of an inappropriate dress code because it is testosterone that inspires us with self-confidence and some aggressiveness, which is appropriate in business. On the other hand, a classic, strict, elite suit makes us better businessmen. A group in proper attire felt more confident and, as a result, made better deals. This is also confirmed by the findings of 2007. By dressing in a strict uniform, the tested feel more confident, authoritative and competent, and simple clothes set people up in a friendly way. In it, we tend to relax, desire easy communication, and strive to defend our own interests much less. In other words, appropriate clothing with a clear symbolic status helps us to operate more effectively, so I want you to bring out one tool. Use clothing as a productivity tool, especially if you're self-employed or homeschooled and can't seem to pull yourself together. There are 3 steps here. First, isolate the area of your life where you need extra stimulation. For example, training. Secondly, think about what clothes you most associate with success in this area. Thirdly, carefully select a wardrobe that will fit perfectly into this stereotype, and when you dress, do it consciously. Remember that this is not just a fabric, but a symbol that affects you and, like armor, protects you from unwanted feelings.